All right, and we're live. We made it happen. Sorry for the delay there, but welcome to the first show of the Rocks Lab, hosted by me, Dr. Matt Sweeney, Dr. Katie Duke, and Coach Greyson Kilgore. So this show is all about HYROX, everything from race day prep, performance, and rehab, all the way to the finish line.
Yep.
So excited to have you guys on, and yeah, let's get to it. So
Yeah,
just to
maybe.
start, you guys had a great weekend this past weekend.
Yeah, we did. We know this is a HYROX show, but hard not to talk about an amazing week in that the DEKA World Championships down in Florida for us. So we just got back yesterday.
Yeah, man. Matt, we've got some funny stories to share with you, actually. And, racing is fun and funny, and we laugh our way through racing all the time. But we did have an excellent weekend down there, brought home some hardware, won a variety of different things. We don't need to talk about DEKA too much, but I do think we can maybe, when you're ready, tell some like pretty funny DEKA or just like racing stories, because Katie's like a whole show. Like just
We make it very entertaining, I think.
yeah.
Like diving over finish lines, falling off boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get to some HYROX stuff with you, Matt. We're very excited about that. But and I'm gonna let you ask your questions. But we got some really funny stories to tell you.
So just give me a brief synopsis, because I saw some of the stuff on Instagram. How'd you guys end up placing with DEKA?
Oh man, you want to go first? You go first.
Yeah. So I won the DEKA Fit, and then I won the DEKA Mile. I took second in the DEKA Strong. Those are my individual events. And then we won the co-ed Fit, and you take it from there.
Yeah, and we got second in the co-ed mile, and then I got third across the board in my solo races. So
Every single podium.
Yeah, we only had one race we ran that we didn't podium, so we had to get on the airplane with 8 big fake checks,
Yeah.
which
It
was
hilarious.
pretty
Stop.
funny. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, at one point we like turned them around so people couldn't ask us any more questions.
Yeah.
Like,
Was TSA like, what are these? Like, are you guys like, what's going on?
yeah. Luckily there was someone going through right ahead of us that also had the big like award in their bag. So once they saw one award, they just started like shuffling people through faster. But yeah, our flight attendants
funny.
thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah. It's a great
So
weekend.
I've never been in that position where I've gotten a big check, and I'm assuming that you don't take those to a bank. I don't know if that's a stupid question to ask, but if it's a bank, be like, hey, can I cash
Everyone
this?
asked us that question actually.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious to take. No, it's just it's like an honorary cardboard thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Congrats, guys. And that was
Thanks.
was that a nation like a USA or a regional event, or was it like a worldwide event? Or
Worldwide World Championship. A lot of people from Spain and Australia came over.
From the UK.
UK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Canadians, yeah.
so you guys did very well.
Yeah.
We did very well.
That's cool.
And now he's got to turn around and get ready for HYROX in a few days. So
Yeah,
that's
and
our
I'm home
goal.
on Sunday.
We're back on the HYROX mission here.
Yeah.
So that's cool. It kind of getting off topic a little bit already, but I love it. What's that like going from? Because I know a lot of athletes who are either lead busy lives or are going from one event to the next, or they're mixing a bunch of sports. Like, what's that like jumping from just competing? Your body's probably pretty tired, and you're like, all right, I gotta have a quick turnaround and go to the next event.
Yeah. Man, it's wild, right? And I think as people listen, they're gonna find out so many things about our life. And it's that, first of all, yeah, we want to race on a professional level, which involves a lot of travel and different things. But we also are raising kids and taking care of a house and working jobs. So it's like this quick turnaround. You fly, like we flew in from Florida yesterday, and you immediately like start the grocery shopping, get the house in order, and try to get like all the normal life stuff figured out.
Yeah.
Because we're like, all right, we're gonna make it like Tuesday night is pizza night, and we gotta get these kids some pizza.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. What
That's
else?
Yeah, and I think just trying to plan your training, right, is the next hard part. And I'm lucky enough to be married to my coach, so I don't have to think too hard. He tells me what to do, but you have to plan your own week,
Yeah.
and like not just recovery, and not just physical recovery, but like mental and like nervous system recovery to get ready to go again on Sunday.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that like attracts me a lot to HYROX is that compared to some races, I mean, there's a decent amount of prep that goes into it, but if you put your mind to it and you have a good coach and you have a good time management, like you can find ways to work, have kids, work a full-time job, and find time to like program that training like into your weeks or over a series of weeks, which I think, I mean, I want to get your guys' opinion on as far as like from elite athletes to like Gen Pop, that it's accessible to all types of people.
Yeah, man, I think this is actually going to be like maybe the first like real segment we're going to cover. Should we introduce ourselves first?
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it.
And then I want to come back to that question because it leans into like the basis of the HYROX content we want to go into. But totally. I think people need to know who you are.
You're sure. I'm a physical therapist as well as Katie. So I think a big benefit of this show, and as we get other guests on too, is that we got two PTs who know the body really well as far as recovery and injury standpoint. I went to University of Rhode Island for physical therapy school. As far as my background,
give me your best Rhode Island accent. Let's hear it.
I need to go get a coffee. Get me some coffee.
Oh, I like that.
I think that's probably the number one. I think if in Boston you're gonna hear more like I gotta park the car, but and that's even like you don't even hear much of that. In Rhode Island, you definitely hear people say coffee, like CAD. Okay. Like that's pretty common.
Sure.
But yeah, I've been loving the East Coast, love Rhode Island. Definitely get in the water from time to time, whether it's swimming, training for full Ironmans right now, so been getting a lot of open water swimming, which has been fun. Little known fact, there's not a ton of sharks in Rhode Island, so I do feel pretty safe in the water. Not a ton. Once you go up the border to Massachusetts, they're breeding quite often up there. But Rhode Island, we don't get much shark activity, so I feel pretty comfortable in the water. But yeah, physical therapy, doing some Ironman training, and living in Rhode Island.
And you did your first HYROX this year?
Did my second HYROX. Yep, I did Boston. I snuck into an early HYROX in New York in 2021. Maybe 2022. Right. I remember that. And I was hooked, and that was fun. I mean, just in general, talking about, and the first thing I say about HYROX, whenever somebody talks to me about it, I'm like, it is the best well-run fitness event you're gonna do.
Yeah.
It really is like the cream of the crop of like these events are very, very, very well done, and it's like I don't know if this is their actual logo or slogan, or if I've heard it just enough times, or if I'm stealing it from something else. If that, I apologize. But I keep hearing it called the World Series of Fitness Racing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what they call it. Yeah.
And I don't know if that's their actual logo, or a slogan, but I'm like that makes sense to me. Like I think they've done a really good job of solidifying themselves. Like we're gonna run the best events, and attract the really, really good talent, and I think the programming and the community aspect. I'm getting ahead of myself now too, but it's very good. It's very good.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about you guys?
Yeah, so my name's Katie Duke. I'm also a physical therapist. We're in Boise, Idaho. I played Division I soccer, University of South Carolina, and then
no big deal.
No big deal. Just a little school on the East Coast. Not a big deal. And
you would never try to make it sound like a big deal until I, as an individual who would have died to be a D1 athlete, bring it up like, yeah, you were like a high-level soccer player. That you you don't talk about it now.
No, the people who should care, like my kid who wants to play soccer, they don't care at all. So I don't know. Like, would you just trust me?
You can care
I know
less
what I'm
about
talking
where you played soccer. The rest of us are like, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Continue.
And then after college, I got really into I started marathons, half marathons, trail running. Eventually led me to Spartan racing, which led me to DEKA, which led me to HYROX, and we're pretty much all in on hybrid racing right now. It's so fun. We're pretty hooked.
Yeah. It really is. I love it. And I've talked to you guys before. For some reason, I love that you guys are from Idaho. I'm like, Idaho, just to me, I'm like, oh, that's so cool. They're from Idaho.
It is really cool. Boise's the best.
Tell us what you think, like when Idaho comes through your mind.
Potatoes, just potatoes.
Just potatoes?
Just potatoes.
Just potatoes. And I feel like and I might be getting this mixed up with a different state, but
That happens in Idaho.
good wrestling in Idaho.
You're thinking Iowa?
Iowa.
But there actually is, that's funny. I grew up as a wrestler.
So you were the good wrestling in Idaho.
Well, as the best JV wrestler in town. Idaho does have good wrestling, actually, as we are kind of known for that. But when you're on the East Coast and you're thinking about like, what's the state with good wrestling, it's Iowa. So
Gotcha. Fair enough.
No, Boise's the perfect place to train though, because we got mountains, we got trails, we got rivers. It's great.
It's a very fit community. Yeah.
Tell us about you.
I'm Greyson Kilgore, best known as Katie's husband. That's what I'm telling people.
I love that.
Yeah, it's nice.
2 weeks now.
Yeah, for 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm a full-time hybrid coach. It's what I do. I coach HYROX and I coach DEKA Fit. I'm also a HYROX athlete. I've raced in last year in 2024. I raced in Chicago in the men's doubles Elite 15 race. So I've got a little Elite 15 racing experience, and I plan to get more. High-level DEKA Fit racing. Before that, I was a decathlete in college, so I think that translates over pretty well. And then in high school, I spent a lot of time playing all the sports. I was a very hybrid athlete kind of my entire life. I always said, like, when I was a collegiate decathlete, I was like, 10 events are not enough for me. Like, I need a pogo stick, a skateboard, and like 10 and a snowboard, like in this competition as well. So like wrestling, running, track and field, and then any sports at home was kind of my life before all of this. So yeah, that's me.
I love that. I think that reminds me from I have a background in CrossFit too, and one of the things they mention is as one of their mantras is like constantly learning and playing new sports. So you adding pogo stick to the decathlon, I think is a good one.
Absolutely. Are we allowed to talk about CrossFit here?
It's a dirty word. It's a dirty word.
It might come up.
So I think to what we put a pin in earlier, I think it'd be a good time to go back to is as far as the accessibility for CrossFit, and I know you mentioned in Elite 15, so we're talking like one end of the spectrum.
You mean HYROX.
HYROX. We're talking one end of the spectrum. You're these are the best of the best, but also the accessibility for kind of like the people who are just like, oh, this race sounds cool. A great way to test myself. What are some tips, or how do you feel about the accessibility of HYROX for the average gym goer?
Yeah, I think it's one of the first things we tell people when they ask us, or when they're so like, oh, I don't know if I could do one. I mean, the first thing we tell them is like, these are all like lifelong movements you do, squats and lunges and carries. Like I grocery carry every week, right? Like I try to carry as much as possible into my house because I'm not making 2 trips. Like we do all of these motions. So I don't think there's anything that's just like, yes, you might do it at a different pace than we're doing it. But if you do that, like you're able to do it. I think that's what we're getting at.
Yeah.
You got to bring them in one trip. Groceries got to come in one trip. That's it.
Yeah, and you refuse my help as well. She lets me hold the door at best. I always tell my athletes that the HYROX movements are as old as time. Squat, hinge, push, pull, lunge. Those are things that humans have been doing since the beginning of time. And one of the reasons we love the event is because it builds a certain kind of capability that directly connects us to our why. And as racers, we want to compete at the highest level. We're competitors. But ultimately, HYROX creates an awesome space for us just to become the best physical versions of ourselves and mental and emotional versions of ourselves as well. And I think that actually creates a really wide open space and HYROX says it's made for every body, right? So I think HYROX is wildly accessible because it's asking us to perform in movements that are as old as time, things that we do every day, and things that just connect us to what it means to be like a moving human being, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I love it for that reason, and I think that's why it's gripping too. Like someone who is interested in fitness, people who are listening to this right now are interested in HYROX because it connects you to the very movements that make you human.
Totally. When I think it like creates such a, you're saying like capability, we talk a lot, we always talk about how we want to be in like half marathon shape all the time. Like the diversity of training you get with training for HYROX is what I love, because when someone invites me to go mountain bike or rock climb or do other things, like I'm able to do it. If you're just training for like a running race, I think it's really hard to maintain all the other aspects of strength that you can while you're training for HYROX.
Yeah. Tell them, Matt, we got to talk about something real fast.
Sure.
He is the perfect example of this kind of capability. And I know we're talking about accessibility, but I think the two go hand in hand for me. We got married 2 weeks ago. And
Big congrats, guys.
thank you. It was a very simple wedding. Some people do like no kids weddings. We did kids only weddings. So we have 3 kids.
We describe it as lawless and wild.
It was lawless, the most lawless and wild wedding you've ever seen.
Love that.
And so Katie, you people are going to get a sense of the kind of person Katie is. I'm like at the location where we're going to get married. I got a couple of the kids with me. And Katie ends up driving herself to the wedding. And so she, like, in this, like, first look moment, she gets out of her Bronco with her flowers in one hand, her own train from her dress in the other hand, and then, like, the youngest runs up to her, so she scoops that kid up, too. So, to be clear, she's walking towards me with, like, a toddler in this arm, and then her dress and her flowers in this arm over here. And I'm just like, this is the most, like, Katie thing I've ever seen. Like capability on display as she's packing a toddler and a bunch of crap in her wedding dress and heels across the grass.
That's fantastic.
HYROX capability. Yeah. You can carry anything.
You can carry anything.
That's literally, that's a highlight reel for it. It's literally like, hey, this is what I can do.
This is what we train for. And our kids are so used to seeing us train, like even when they were little, and they would tell me, they'd want me to carry both of them at the same time and be like, Mom, this counts as your training. I'm like, you're absolutely right. I'm training for you, not for just HYROX.
Totally. And I think that's the common sentiment, like especially with people that have kids. Like, I want to be able to lift my kid up. I want to be able to play with my kids without getting hurt. I want to be able to like, get on the ground, like wrestle with them. Like, I mean, I think those things become more and more important for people as they get older. And like you mentioned earlier, Greyson, it's like the foundational or the fundamental movements of HYROX are all of these like natural movements: carry, lunge, throw, run. Like these are all important, and the skill isn't too high where it's accessible. Like bring it back to that, like, and open to all types of people if they want to get into it. So it's really cool.
Go ahead.
I do think if we're going to talk about what HYROX is a HYROX-based podcast, we should cover off on what the actual movements are that we're talking about.
Yeah.
I think this podcast is probably going to speak to a wide arrangement of people, maybe racing on the elite level and tuning in for some high quality, like technical tips, which we are going to offer. But maybe someone's brand new to the HYROX world and just trying to figure out like, what even is this? So can we just say what the movements are real fast?
Hit me.
Yeah. So there's 8 stations with 8 runs throughout. So it goes, and man, I hope I get the order right. It goes 1,000-meter ski erg, into a 50-meter sled push that's heavy, into a 50-meter sled. 50 meters, and then a 50-meter sled pull that's also heavy. 80-meter burpee broad jump, and then a 1,000-meter row, and then a 200-meter farmer's carry, 200 meters of groceries. That's a long.
It's a little further than my car to the house. But
yeah, definitely. 100-meter sandbag lunge, finishing with 100 wall balls, which we are going to demonstrate some wall ball technique later today. See those targets up there? That's what we're aiming for.
Yeah, and then you have that run. The run is in between each of those stations, and you end with the wall balls.
Yeah. It's a massive undertaking, but it's like somehow both scary. If you're getting ready for your first HYROX, you know what I'm talking about. It's scary because it's big and the reps are massive, but it's also so enticing because it's something you want to be able to accomplish, right?
Well, and I think the other thing, really what people love about it is the team aspect, which is something we've always loved, is racing as a team. It's super fun, but it also takes away some of that fear of like, oh God, can I do this all myself? It's like, well, you don't have to. You can do it with your best friend, and you guys can you guys can switch every 5 wall balls if you want. Break it up however you want and just get it done. So I think that I think that's what we've seen take off the most with HYROX is the doubles and the mixed doubles. Because it makes it more doable, I think, for people.
Totally.
Yeah, so if you're on the fence, do doubles first.
Yeah.
And we got just a quick side note. We got shout out Pat in the chat giving us some love there. Thank you, Pat.
Pat in the chat, I love it. Thanks, Pat.
No, yeah. So I think that's huge, and thank you for breaking that down, especially like piece by piece. And as you said that, I brought myself back through the race I just did. I'm like, oh man, those sleds are so heavy.
Those sleds are so heavy. Just doesn't matter how much you train them; they're heavy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So another piece of HYROX that I want to talk about, I mean, the accessibility is so awesome for all types of athletes, and whether you're looking to get into it at a very high level or like just looking to do it with a friend. So a side point on that, if you're looking to get into your first event, like, oh, okay, this sounds interesting. I want to test myself. I want to see what would be your first steps? Like, what kind of training, what kind of undertaking is this? Should you reach out to a coach? Your first HYROX, what are the expectations?
Man, a lot of people compare HYROX effort to like a half marathon effort. So I think
in terms of duration.
In terms of duration, and so I think like you want to make sure you have a good foundation. I think it's not a couch to 5K type of program usually for people doing a first HYROX. We talk a lot about like if you're going to invest money into a race, I don't care what level you are, investing in a coach from the beginning is like invaluable to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of coaches that can help people. I'm one of them. I think I'm pretty good at it. Really, what people need to know if they're about to get into their first HYROX is that it is over 50% a running race, right? So if you're going to run it in an hour and 30 to an hour 30 minutes, that means you're going to run for more than 45 minutes, right? So a great foundation in running is super important to getting into your first HYROX. And that's one of the things I love about it. I want to be a person who can run a long ways. I want to be able to push, pull, carry, and lift. I think that is directly connected to like my why as a person that wants to be physically capable in all domains. So I love that HYROX tests your running on such a capability. But then there's those other elements too, where it requires muscular endurance and even some power endurance in there, and then just the ability to carry, and then the ability to work, to just move weight and hit your reps over and over again. So I think a person like in general, if you're getting ready for your first HYROX, you need to be able to run, you need to be able to lift, you need to be able to move in like healthy functional movement patterns. And I think with the PTs in the room, I think we're going to dive into that over the months to come. But it really does require to be able to move in all of the healthy ways that a human body can move.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And like I think the second piece of that too is, the coach, having a coach is super important. If you're dealing, like I think a lot of us, especially as we're getting into, maybe 20s, but 30s, 40s, and above, have some level of like lingering either issue or injury or something that could be improved. Then that's where go see your local PT and learn some mobility techniques and like figure out ways to get around it. I know off air, me and Katie were just talking about like, hey, like you play D1 soccer, like your ankle bugs you once in a while, and you have techniques and things that you can. So there's always there's always things you can work on and work around and get better, and don't necessarily use like, oh, I can't do that because I have this going on, or I can't do that. Like, I wouldn't say use it as a crutch. Like, there's always a way you can get around it and get better with it. So I think during the show we're going to try to do a good job of teaching some of those recovery techniques as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wanted to ask you guys earlier, but I'm going to do it now. While we're talking about racing, any funny race stories that have happened to you guys recently, or anything you can think of?
Oh yeah, we did mention that at the beginning, right?
Yes.
That we need to cover some funny race stories. You want to do that now?
Yeah, you got one or me?
Let me just set this up. One of the things we want, this podcast is going to do a lot of things. We're going to get to HYROX movements. We're going to get to programming and technique and all of those things. But racing, there's a reason we love watching this stuff, right? There's stories all around the racing world. If we were to ask people in the comments to tell us some racing stories right now, they would probably have a bunch of their own funny ones.
Sure.
But since Katie and I are racing all the time, we just came off of the DEKA World Championship, and I'm dying for Katie to tell this one story.
I hope it's not one of those stories that's only funny to us, which it might be.
No, I think it's better.
But it's also like a funny, just reminder that we're all like real people, I think, and have lives outside of racing. So I'm in my like warm up, first race of the weekend. I'm in my warm up and I go to put my race shoe on, and I'm like, what's in my shoe? And I go to reach in there and it's like a dried corn kernel, and it's from like 6 weeks ago. We took our kids to one of those pumpkin patches where they like play in the sandbox, but the sand is like actually corn kernels.
Do they have that on the East Coast?
Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
You know what I'm talking about?
I don't think I've seen corn kernel sandboxes.
So it's like dried corn, right? So it's this dried piece of corn. And I crack up because I'm like, how the hell did this get in my shoe? Not to mention I have raced since that time in these shoes. So there's just like so many questions, right?
That corn's been living in there.
Right, and so I think it's really funny, and I'm like, it makes me smile because it reminds me of my kids and they're not with us. And so I like tuck it in my shorts, and then, because I'm like, I gotta tell Greyson, he's gonna laugh. And so then I keep forgetting when I see him as I'm warming up and talking to him about race stuff, I keep forgetting, and eventually I like move it into my sports bra. And then I forget about it completely, and the race starts. And I make it through. DEKA is 10 stations, including like sit-ups and running and like the ski. And I'm on my 8th station, almost done with the race, and I'm doing like these over the wall things, kind of with a med ball. And I'm
you take, it's a dead ball, big heavy ball. You lift it over a yoke and dump it on the other side. And you gotta bend over, pick it up.
You had to do it 20 times.
Yeah.
No joke. On the 18th rep, this corn kernel pops out of my sports bra right in between my feet and the judge's feet, and I just smile and I can't stop because I'm like racing. But I just smiled so big because I was like, oh my God, this judge thinks I'm crazy.
Like the weirdest thing to jump out of a person.
He's like, I've seen people eat, like we use, with us women, we use our sports bras to keep our nutrition. I'm like, this guy thinks I'm munching on dried corn during my race. And that's like the first thing I wanted to tell Greyson after my race was about this corn kernel.
So funny.
And he was so funny because he hit it on the head. He was just like, oh my God, it's a funny little like physical reminder of our life outside of racing that like makes you smile mid-race and takes all the pressure off, because it's like, oh yeah, I got kids at home, and that's what really matters.
Sure, yeah.
It's just so funny. So I never went and picked it up, so other people saw that corn.
That thing had quite a day, from like your shoe to your shorts to your sports bra to the competition floor.
Competition floor.
So funny. Oh my God.
That's hilarious. That's like, all right, yep, I'm from Idaho. I got corn coming out.
I got corn falling out of everywhere.
Yeah.
You came straight from the field.
Like, I don't know how I made it through other races with that.
Gosh, that's so funny.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that.
Unfortunately, I think this weekend all the funny stories were from me being a spaz. But
Absolutely.
like after our second day, we get off the podium and I look down and I got one race shoe and one non-race shoe because I got distracted taking my shoes off.
Two different shoes. I think it'd be funny. You know, eventually as the show goes on, we should pose some questions to listeners and eventual listeners, saying like, has this ever happened to you? Or do you have any like funny stories that happened mid-race, like wearing two different shoes and not knowing it? Or like one of my favorites. Okay, can I tell the diving story?
Oh, sure.
We got time for another story, Matt?
Yeah.
Okay. So Katie's wildly competitive, and for so many races this weekend, she would show up and just be like, I don't know how I'm gonna do. I guess we'll just see. As if she was like a very flippant and casual racer. Well, during one of the races, she was like close to she was fighting for a podium position, and she finishes her last rep, and there's a short run to the finish line, and it's like she's like neck and neck with another person, and Katie, I'm like watching and cheering. Next thing I know, and it's a concrete floor, and she just dives head first, and she dives to the point where like it's not just like, so she's reaching her hands out because her timing chip is on her wrist for this race. She reaches her hands like Superman style across the line, and like literally like hits chin first on the concrete, and then you would think You think, you know how like in football or different sports that are on turf, there's like a slide that happens with a dive? No, have you ever seen one of those like when the kids have like a sticky hand, you fling it out the window? That's exactly how Katie hit the floor. She just chin first and then just like sticks to the floor and stops.
No, I'm used to soccer fields where you slide forever, and I just dead stop and laid there. I didn't move.
Just sticks to it, and the whole world like freezes for a second.
And then you just straight box jump over the barrier.
Yeah, because we thought you were dead. She just laid there with her face down on the concrete, like she just hit herself at the finish line.
Did they happen to get like a good photo or video?
We got
of
a
that?
lot of photos.
Yeah, we'll send it to you.
Let's go.
Someone sent it to me like broken down second by second, and I was like, "Oh,
that's unreal."
That's embarrassing, but
does it look really cool?
Sure. And then I remember I'm almost 40, and I'm like, I shouldn't have done that.
It reminds me of I don't know if you guys are hockey fans, but the Bobby Orr dive when he dives after is like he's completely horizontal in the air.
Horizontal. Oh man.
So that's your Bobby Orr moment, which is cool. That's awesome.
I think we don't get as much hockey out here in Idaho. I think that must,
it's a kind of a
small. Yeah.
It's a pretty Boston Bruins thing. So
yeah.
We got another question from Pat, which I think will kind of lead us into the technique. Pat asks, is HYROX done on special equipment? Well, we're about to show you a little equipment here. I think mostly the center equipment has really become like the brand for HYROX. So that's
the exclusive brand.
Yeah, so that's what's a lot of the stuff. That's like the highest quality. Like that's what they're using at races. So like if you're looking to get equipment that's like, and you're trying to mimic the race, that's probably what you want to look towards. So the center equipment is CENTR. I think is that the small? Yeah. But we'll show you some now. I think so. We want to have each episode either have like a PT tip or a technique tip, something you guys can take away. So Greyson, I know we want to talk a little bit about some pacing strategies, which I know for HYROX is a very important thing to talk about, because if you mess this up, this is where you can have a really bad day or a really hard day. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think it makes sense for our first show. If we're going to give some very practical tips for people who are getting into HYROX, the first thing you need to know, as Katie has said, it's a long race. It is an endurance event. And anytime someone gets into an endurance event, knowing how to pace the event is really step one for me. We can, a lot of people are going to come to HYROX knowing how to lunge, knowing how to squat, learning how to do the wall balls. Pushing something and pulling something are pretty natural movements. But where people can really screw up in an endurance race like this is by going out too hot. And everybody does it, right?
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah. And so actually in your first race, I'm going to say you probably are going to start too fast. But I think it'd be helpful to explain to people like what makes a person a good hybrid athlete and a great HYROX racer is the ability to move as fast as possible, but as efficiently as possible. So when I coach this stuff, I say like, we're trying to be smooth and quick with the least amount of contractions as possible. And I think what I mean by that is like, we don't want to be using energy that we don't need to use just yet. So Katie, talk like for a second about just like in terms of like output, like effort to give into the race. What does that look like from start to finish, or what would that look like for an ideal race?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I think for me, I know my strengths and weaknesses, and so I think I know where I'm going to push my effort a little bit, like which stations I'm going to push a little bit more on. We call it, I mean, really, HYROX is a threshold run, right? Threshold workout. So meaning you're at your like higher end heart rate, but something you can maintain steadily the whole time without ever actually like dipping over that red line. So it's not like a VO2 max. You're not trying to go all out in a station and then recover on runs. Like really, we're trying to kind of like be steady the whole time. And really with the stations, you get to kind of use different muscle groups and different systems throughout the stations, and you can talk more on that since that's kind of your specialty as a coach.
Yeah.
But so I think that's an important thing. I think where we see people really like, fade out is they want to punch the first run because they're excited. And so now you've tapped into this like different system and where you're sprinting, but you still have, an hour or more left of racing. And so it's hard to recover back and still be able to be competitive and run the pace you want to pace.
Yeah. I think a great way to visualize it is kind of like this. In the running world, it's just like pure running. They talk about how that your best races happen when you negative split. And what negative splitting means, and Matt, you probably know what this means because you're a triathlete guy, and a runner. But a negative split means essentially if you were to run a 5K, 3.1 miles, your first mile is your slowest, and your last mile is your fastest, and that you kind of ramp up intensity as the race goes on, so that you can finish faster than you started. Typically, our bodies respond best to negative splits, and that's how, in the running world, that's how we race our best. Now, this is unique in HYROX because you're switching modalities all the time, and actually, your heart rate demands will change throughout the race, right? You're gonna have moments where your heart rate spikes and comes back down. But in general, in a HYROX race, you want to negative split in terms of effort. So you want to start with a conserved approach to the front half of your race and your ski and then the run after that. And then you kind of get to work on the sleds, but you don't push your sleds so hard that you can't function after, right? So when it comes to pacing, even in your sleds, you're going to take breaks. And when it's sled day in here, we'll show you how to push the sled, how to take breaks and things like that. But in general, you're trying to like conserve contractions, conserve movement patterns, and move in a way where you are spent at the end of the race and not before that at all. Matt, before I go on, do you have any like questions about that?
No, I think that was really well said. I think from like the running example, the 5K, I think a lot of people will understand that, because if people have run a 5K and messed that up before, it's hard to forget it. It's like if you go out too hot, then you're just struggle bus for the rest of the race. So, and I think you guys talking about like the different thresholds and like some of the negative splits, like starting slow and getting faster as you go on, and then really having a big kick, like a big push at the end, is I think is, and figuring out that pacing is HYROX is unique in a way, because like you to some degree you probably have to just practice the race.
Well, I was just gonna say, I think you have to just like, there is some degree of like experiencing it to know, and that's where the good training comes in. But I think interesting too is like we pace differently on each station, and like a lot of times it's that you got to check your ego for some of that too. Like in my last HYROX, I was side by side with a girl at the sled push, and we both pushed all the way down, all the way back, and she went all the way down again. And I was like, I know I can do this, but I also know where I want to be at the end of this race. So I'm going to take a break halfway in this lap on my next down and back. And then I ended up doing great and finishing what I wanted to finish in, as opposed to like dying off later on. And I think that's one thing with HYROX that's unique too, is like you might crush your first few stations, and then you don't see it kill you until you hit the wall balls, and you're like, oh, I should not have pushed that sled back then. Like it caught up to me. So I think it's just a lot to learn.
So there is a lot to learn, and that's why this show is going to cover a lot of different things. But man, I'll say one of the things that's unique about HYROX is that it's all over Instagram right now, and we get to see these professional races. Did we lose him? Is it just us?
It's just us. It's going to get wild.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I'll keep talking about this. Hopefully he comes back. One of the things about HYROX that's very unique is we get to see professional racers do it all the time. So when we watch like an Elite 15 race, we see Lauren Weeks and these amazing runners look like they're sprinting to zone one. And then they look like they're just hammering the ski and sprinting that too. When in actuality, they're actually quite conserved in those early runs and in those stations, but it looks fast. So I think when people get into their first HYROX, they try to mimic that intensity from the start, But you need to know, like, those people are actually, well, it looks fast, quite conserved, quite controlled, and they're going to give more effort as the race goes on. So I think in general, if I could tell anybody, if you're gonna do your first ever HYROX, start slower than you think you should, because if by some miracle you get to the end and you have tons of energy, you get to use it, right? Because you have all these wall balls coming up, right?
Yeah, no, that's totally true. I think that's good. Good to think about, like, when we're talking about our first race, is also like thinking about race goals. We have so many pre-race talks that are like so valuable to me and have really helped me grow as an athlete, to like talk about all the mindset before racing, talk about strategy. So that's where like having a coach really comes in handy too. But also, I don't know where I was going now with this.
That's perfect. Having a plan, having a strategy, having a coach, those things all help. And I think being willing to let yourself fail at a couple of them.
Oh, I remember where I was going. Okay. Race goals. That's where I was going. I try to have multiple goals for every race. And a lot of times, like, a goal is going to be like my secret goal that I only whisper to Greyson, or not even sometimes.
The secret goal that you don't tell me.
I don't tell anybody until after I complete it. But I think it's good to have like different levels of goals, so that when you go into your first race, you're not like, okay, if I don't get this time, then I failed. You need to have your A, B, C, D goal, and you need to have the ability to shift and pivot mid-race, because maybe you do. I mean, we'll talk about sleds more eventually, but you know, maybe you do get a sled that's just like not moving that day, and that happens to everyone from Lauren Weeks down to like age groupers, first timers. Everyone can have a day where they're in a lane that the sled's not moving as well as they want it to, and I think being able to be prepared to pivot to your next goal mid-race is really, really important for your first race. So giving yourself some grace with when and how you finish is super important.
Absolutely. Should we give some real life coaching here?
Yeah, let's do it.
I think we should get to it.
We're gonna test this. So.
Yeah, we're gonna see how this is our first time trying to like, and actually I don't know if many podcasts are doing this at all. I don't think so. But we're gonna actually try to demonstrate some movements and actually have some real life coaching. And I think we're gonna start with the wall balls. Let me grab one of these. Yeah. Not the extra big one. Let me get that.
And we're gonna roll this desk, this rolly desk that I borrowed from my clinic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll a little closer.
Okay, roll the desk over and then bring the light too.
Hi Matt, you're back.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry about the quick break there.
We had great conversation earlier.
It was awesome. Okay, we got a little bit of the target shot. Might be tricky to see. Back up a little more. Okay. You're gonna bring that light over here too. So lighting is good. Matt, I'm glad you're back.
Excited to see you guys.
Check it out. Here's your first piece of center equipment we're going to highlight today. One of the things I'd probably buy first if I was getting into HYROX, this awesome med. This is the men's pro weight, which is 6 kilograms. No, is that right?
No.
9 kilograms? It always confuses me the way that it's on there. So here's a great example of, we talked about how great hybrid racing is about consistent movement patterns that use the least amount of contractions and just help you move as efficient as possible while moving quickly. And the wall balls is an area where that's a make or break experience. Okay, so first, before I ever go to try to hit this target, the way that I'm going to hold this, I tell new people the best way to get this ball to move fast and to be able to replicate that movement over and over again is to start at the most sturdy position as possible. So I coach people to seek 3 points of contact with this ball. Here's the thing, as it's moving, as it's coming down, as it's landing, you'll see the pros just grab it like this and fire it right back up. But I think sometimes when you're brand new, it might spin out of your hands weird or it's hard to catch. So I tell people, sometimes I'll straight up start by using my chin as my third point of contact. So I'll catch it, lower it here, and then shoot it off like that. A great tip is to keep your thumbs pointed towards yourself, fingers towards the sky. And so whether your chest is your third point of contact or your chin, it's way easier to grab the sucker and hold on to it if you can catch it and control it before you do your squat and fire it back up. Katie, anything on that?
Oh, it looked awesome.
Looked awesome. Okay. So when it comes to breathing, though, so this target's way the heck up here. Let's see, can you see me if I'm over this way? Matt, can you hear me okay?
Yep, I got you.
Okay. So one thing that I've found, if I'm looking up at this target the whole time, my breathing actually gets strained because I might stress, my airway a little bit. And so I've got to figure out how to rep quickly while also relaxing at the same time. And Katie has a technique where she tries to use her arms more in her first 20 reps than her legs because she's trying to give her legs a little bit of a rest. But for me, if I'm staring up at this sucker, I might actually lower my chin a little bit and actually use my chest as my third point of contact, just so that I can relax my chest and my shoulders and actually take a breath before I fire off my next rep. Wall balls in general take 3 to 7 minutes for most people, right? You're going to be there for a long time. You've got to be able to breathe. So let me show you before I even get my legs into this movement. Katie, you want to point that thing up so we can see the target a little bit better? Yeah, I'm not even going to do the full squat. This is a great way to drill your catch and release. I'm going to come here, hit the target, and just practice getting some reps in with my fingers pointing towards the sky, using my chin as my third point of contact, and practicing absorbing and catching the ball. Katie, get in there and show us, just like that.
Well, I was just thinking, we were talking about, the benefits of using the real equipment. I think this is like one of the most accessible pieces you could have. It's one of the most affordable, but like realistically, it's the station that everyone's scared of, and you can train a ton of things by training squats and wall balls. Like I think it's going to just make you better for other stations versus if you're just training farmer scary, that might not translate to other stations quite as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Katie, do some reps real fast. Here's the thing. Matt, should we cover off on some movement standards?
Yeah, I love that. You guys are crushing it.
Okay. So where'd she go? She's off. Go over to the other target. There we go. There we go. So she's hitting the target there. For it to be a successful rep, first of all, it's got to touch that. The women's target is the bottom, men's is the top.
What are we going to do?
Take a break. So it's got to be able to. You've got to hit that target. You've got to hit the X. That's one part of the movement standard. The other thing you've got to be able to do on your wall balls for the rep to count is to hit a full squat at the bottom, which means hip crease below the knee. You want to demonstrate that?
You go for it.
Okay, so lower.
He's got more ankle mobility.
Point that camera down a little bit, so you don't necessarily need to show the target there. So from here, I'm going to catch, and I got to hit this squat here so that my hip creases below the knee, and then fire off from there.
And for a lot of people, I think, like, if they're following HYROX at all, they know that the wall balls can be controversial sometimes. You have a judge there telling you to go lower or higher or whatever. I think at our most recent race, it was really cool because along with the counter, so you have your judge, and then you have a counter on the wall ball target, and then you also had a sign that said, like, if you had a no rep, if it was for not going low enough or not hitting the target. So they're doing like the best they can, I think, to make it like where you know what you're doing, wrong or right, and how to do a good rep.
Yeah. Okay, so those are a few tips. Those are some of the movement standards. Here's some final tips for a beginner. Matt, you ready for this?
Let's see it.
I wouldn't call Matt a beginner anymore.
I'll take the tips.
One of the mistakes.
He's got 200 under his belt.
That's true. One of the mistakes a person will make with the wall balls is they stand too far back from the target, right? So this is what I always tell people. Here, let me show. You got me on camera here? If I'm way back here, show the top target so it goes a little higher. Perfect. And I'm not going to do a full stop. If I'm way back here and I shoot, and then the ball lands here, and I gotta catch it in front of me like this. I'm too far back, right? Because the ball is dropping in front of me, and I want it to fall right back into my catch position. So watch again, hit the target.
Yeah,
if I'm catching here, right?
It's gonna bring all your body weight forward, and then you're fighting the momentum of this ball. And you can't get back down.
It gets you kind of into this hinge position. So I'm gonna come a little bit closer, and so I want to be under the target to the point where the ball lands right back in my firing position every time.
Yeah.
You want to show a few?
Sure. Do you want to talk about any sort of like workouts to get better at this right now, or is that for a later date?
I think we can. Keep going. I'm going to show the bottom of this squat real fast. So see how she's catching? She's catching where she can just reload and fire again without having that ball hinge her forward. Perfect. That's good. Thanks, Katie.
Yeah.
So positioning under the target is super important. If you get that wrong on your first race, it's going to throw off every single rep. Yeah. So I would practice. I think our first training tip: if you're practicing efficiency, do some reps where even you may not even be doing the whole wall ball. You can just use your arms, get close enough to the target to where it's falling back down to the same spot every time. And then going back to our pacing conversation, as you're doing your reps, practice breathing, practice relaxing. Like, okay, so what are muscles that I'm stressing right now that I don't need to be flexing and stressing and contracting? And then figure out how to relax those muscles and just move as efficiently as possible. That might be a great tip for like everything you do in HYROX, but I think it's really important.
Do you have any questions about wall balls for us, Matt, or you?
You guys have done an awesome job demonstrating it and explaining it, and I've learned a lot today. I'm going to let you guys wrap it up just in the case that my audio is not coming through very good. So just basically get any final thoughts for the first podcast and to be looking forward to the next one.
Okay. We can hear you pretty well, but we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
I think the only thing we didn't touch on for this first show that we would like to is maybe just our why behind racing, and there's no way we can explain that all in the last few minutes. So a little cliffhanger for everybody. We'll talk about that more next time. But I think if you're preparing for a race, think about your why. Think about why you want to do this. Is it just to get healthy? Is it to be more functional in your daily life? Is it just to set a hard goal, a big scary goal? Because for us, this is the first race that has scared us. We've played in big games, and have raced a lot of major people. And HYROX is a scary race, and that challenge drew us in really hard.
Yeah, man. And I think it has created such a community of people who want to keep growing in this kind of event. And that's really what the Rocks Lab podcast is here for. It's for the kind of person who's looking for the little nuggets of information or maybe even the inspiration to keep discovering their why in this race. So I would encourage people to keep tuning in because this podcast is going to kind of cover all of it, like we said. We're going to talk about our why and what's important to us in racing, but I'm the kind of coach that I'm going to dive into all the little tips and tricks that I think will be incredibly helpful. One of the things that will make that more worth your time is if you just get in contact with us, engage with our content here, leave us comments, leave us messages, let us know what you want to hear about and what you want to see from us so that we can make sure that we're giving you the content that you want. So this has been...
No, your last thing's got to be, so for those of you who don't know, we have an epic group that we train with here in Boise, 7 a.m. every Sunday. And Greyson is one of the most passionate people you'll ever meet. As soon as you get him speaking, you're going to hear more than you'll ever want to know. But that's something I love about him. And he's very inspiring, so I think you should just end it with you found your speech.
Oh, you want to hear that one? Okay. Here's the thing. This is something that I think is important for all of the people that are in this community. You're going to hear me say this over and over again. In all the people that I coach, and all the people that I know in this sport, and you can even think about yourself right now as someone who's looking to become the best version of yourself. You may have people in your life or just energy in your life, or even a weak voice in your life that's coming from your own head, trying to tell you that this isn't worth your time, or that it's not worth your money, or that it's not worth your commitment. And we just want you to know that it is. And if you're listening to this podcast and you're engaging in this content with us, you can at least trust that Matt and Katie and Greyson believe that this pursuit is worth your time, and it's worth your money, and it's worth your energy, and it's worth your commitment. And you can trust that you've found your people. And I think that's one of the coolest things about walking into a HYROX venue or even engaging with a coach or like-minded athletes is that when you walk into this community, you know you found your people. We hope to be your people. So keep engaging with us, stick with us. We're going to cover all the content you want to hear. And thanks for tuning in to the Rocks Lab podcast powered by Perform Better.
Yeah, thank you, Matt, for teaching us how to use things on the computer.
I'll have to teach myself better next time too. Awesome. I love it. Great first episode. And Rocks Lab signing off.
Thanks, Matt.
Hey.